everyone to an exciting special edition of our Educated Discussions. I'm Elmo, alongside
Felipe.
And would you call this episode 0?
Yes, this is the test that we had together, a podcast that we did for your school.
Yes, I am a high school educator, and we probably really started these educated discussions because of just the talking about doing a podcast we've done in the past, and then I finally started doing it for my students as a high school teacher. And this was the only episode I had ever recorded of that podcast, but we thought that it would really gel well with our educated discussions here. So we're going to rebrand it as an official educated discussion, even though it was previously recorded before even the first episode, which was Last of Us, correct?
Correct.
Now, there are some little bits here that the audience may not know, because my original audience was the students for this original podcast.
Right.
The whole saying things and stuff. Those are words that I do not allow to be used in my classroom. So if there are points where Felipe here says them, I probably do point it out in an obnoxious manner, just because my students know how I am. And we just, to let you know, we do avoid those words because we want to be specific. We don't want to be vague.
Right.
Like when your wife said, "Get me that thing over there." What did you say?
I forgot what I said.
No, she wanted you to get a wipe.
Oh, you mean just now?
Yeah,
I thought you meant in the podcast.
No. Which she is in this podcast too.
Okay, yeah. She asked for a wipe, or she asked for a thing, and I'm like, well, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah. So
and she meant a wipe. So yes, he's
just
a little ridiculous with it, but hey,
I'm a teacher. I got to be like that.
Right.
But just for some context for you, the wonderful listener here. Also, there's a point around 59 minutes where a track known as Lost in the Woods plays. We don't want to get caught by the YouTube police.
Yeah.
So we're going to do some creative editing so that will not be played for you. But I do recommend you listen to that song by Jonathan Groff. Is that his name?
Sure.
The voice actor. He's in that Mindhunter show. I realized he's like an actor like I know.
And he was a singer too?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was also in Hamilton. Anyway.
That new one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, not important. We hope you enjoy the unofficial episode 0 and this new official episode of An Educated Discussion. Thank you. First topic is going to be a review of Frozen 2. Alongside me is my friend Felipe, currently at his house. Felipe, you just were eating pizza.
Yes, sir. With the very best toppings.
Pepperoni.
That's up there. It's definitely up there.
I mean, it's the top one.
It's arguable. Debatable.
Okay.
But this particular slice of pizza had two things. Ham and pineapple.
Okay. Well, you said things, and we know how I feel about that. But I'm not a big fan of ham in general. As a kid, I liked it. I flipped that with salami, like back and forth. I liked one and not the other. But pineapple, garbage. Pineapple's not good in general, so to throw it on pizza, it sounds like a bad idea.
It's not opposite there, right? It's
no
normal. Okay. So you just have bad opinions.
No, it's
gotcha.
No, it's not a bad opinion.
No.
It's just...
Don't listen to this. I know he's a teacher, but pineapple is just an absolute good on pizza, and it belongs there. So.
I mean, you said it was debatable, and I can debate that all day.
No, pepperoni is debatable. So, get your facts straight. All right.
Well, I've actually never had...
Frozen 2, huh?
I've never had any pineapple on pizza before. So if I were to try it, it'd be like going into the unknown.
There it goes.
And we're going to be reviewing Frozen 2 today as per our audience's suggestions. Anyway, we're going to start, before we get into our thoughts on Frozen 2, I want to give a little bit background info, because I think it's going to become pretty relevant as the discussion continues. Now, Frozen, based on Hans Christian Andersen's The Snow Queen, some old story. I tried reading about what it was about. There was like a mirror and like a giant, there's demons. It's very religious.
Oh.
And I just generally was perplexed in the Wikipedia article that I was reading.
Okay.
So, and I was trying to multitask at the time, so I didn't want that to mess with my impression too much, so I just got a vague understanding of the story. Frozen 2, directed by the same two directors from Frozen 1. Chris Buck, one of them, formerly directed Tarzan, the Disney one, Surf's Up, Frozen 1, of course, and then worked on Pocahontas' animation as a director for animation.
So they've been in this a long time.
Yes, but it does seem like he was working sparingly because there's quite a few years between releases here.
Oh, okay.
Because like when did Surf's Up come out? I mean, we could look that up, but there's a gap between that and 2013 when Frozen 1 came out. The other director is a Jennifer Lee. All I could find on her is that she's a college graduate who wrote for Wreck-It Ralph and then directed Frozen 1 and went on to be one of the directors for Frozen Fever, which I actually have no familiarity with other than whatever shows up on YouTube when my daughter's listening to music. Or DeBebe.
DeBebe, okay. Yeah, I don't know what Frozen Fever is. But
we do have the budget for both of these movies. $150 million were spent to create Frozen 1 and then another $150 million for Frozen 2. So I find it interesting that despite the success of Frozen 1, they allocated the same amount of funds to Frozen 2.
Yeah, and it shows.
We'll get into that. Now, Frozen 1 made $1.2 billion in the box office, and then Frozen 2 went on to go beyond that with $1.4 million.
Okay.
And Frozen 2 is actually the number 2 highest grossing animated film of all time. Right behind that recent Lion King release that you saw. I didn't see it because I heard.
Oh, I saw it. You say animated, it was live action. That's weird.
No, they weren't real lions.
Okay.
Anyway, you suggested that we should start with our Frozen 1 thoughts before we get into Frozen 2.
Yeah, just to kind of get a better idea of where you were at mentally going into this Frozen 2 so people can kind of gauge our interests.
All right. Well, I've been talking a bit. What was your mental space with Frozen 1?
Frozen 1 came out. Was not really looking forward to watching it. I just happened to take my younger sister to go see it. And it was great. It surpassed my expectations, which were small. But it had amazing songs, just enjoyable. Animation was fantastic, and I'm really big into seeing animations, especially the Disney movies. They always knock it out of the park. So
they do, but then you go back to Toy Story 1 and
I mean, for the time.
For the time, is that gonna happen with Frozen? Like we'll be like, oh, look how rough this looks.
I know they nailed it the first time.
I
doubt it.
They said that about Toy Story 1 and 2. Even going back to 2 and 3, I was like, this is a little rough.
Nah.
Okay, so you think this is gonna stand the test of time?
Kids, when you listen to this in 2048, just remember what I just said. It's gonna look great.
Animation never got better.
Yeah. So.
We've hit the peak.
We'll be in 12K, but it'll still look great. You'll see. You?
Frozen, I had no intention of seeing it.
Oh, same.
I remember, if I'm going back in the memory bank here, I remember my sister really enjoying it. And we were at a Disney hotel with the family. And it was like the Animal Kingdom one. Like there's giraffes in the backyard. Like that's kind of cool. Anyway.
Right.
My sister was talking about Frozen with my then girlfriend, now wife, and
congrats!
She was really, thank you. I thought you were there.
Yeah. Okay.
Sister really liked it. She said we should watch it, and I'm like, sure. I've heard that this movie's good. So I went in to Frozen 1, and my wife called out the twist 20 minutes into that movie. And my sister played it off well. She was like, oh, I thought he was going to be evil too, yada, yada, yada.
That twist.
And
I forgot.
I was like, now that you say that, I wonder if that's actually going to happen. Like the whole twist with the Hans, what's his name?
Yeah.
I get that mixed up with Sven sometimes.
Yeah.
And then Kristoff. But that's just my bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went into it and I was like, this is fine. I don't know why people love this. I didn't think it was that amazing. But I know I'm sometimes overly critical.
Yeah.
Even though your taste sometimes, I think you're meaner than you should be when I like something. So we can probably both be critical.
Right.
So when I look at Frozen 1, I say, that was okay. I liked the twist and I could appreciate what they were trying to do with the whole, she kissed her. That was the true love. And I called it like 10 minutes before it happened, but I still thought like that's cool that they did that.
Yeah.
It was a good flip on the
the tropes.
the tropes
established
that
forever.
usually go with Disney. We're going way past our 4 minutes on the old podcast.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway,
It's nice.
so you liked it.
The first one.
Yeah, I appreciated it, but was like, oh, this is fine.
Yeah, it was good. It was great. It was a great movie.
So what were you wanting out of Frozen 2?
I just wanted just more flips to the routine that they've always had. You know, they already did it with this one. You know, I don't need no man. That was the first one. Sisterly love is just as powerful as, you know, another man or whatever. So I wanted more stuff like that. I wanted more bangers. You know, Let It Go,
Songs
Snowman.
that slap.
Oh yeah, as the kids say. Knee slappers, right? Right,
That's
kids?
the wrong.
No,
That's the wrong
All right.
expression. You're gonna catch the smoke. You keep it up.
Oh, gosh.
Do you know that one?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's not. It's about fighting.
I don't.
Actually.
I don't.
No,
I
it's-
don't smoke. So
No,
I
it's
don't,
about fighting. I feel like it's like when cartoon characters fight. There's like a big smoke cloud. And
that makes sense.
I feel like
These kids, man, they're smart
I
when they
don't-
bring up these.
I think you're giving them too much credit. I don't think most of them could get that. I think that's me pulling a little bit there.
I don't
But
think they have cartoons these days. Anyways, I just wanted some good songs, more great animation, and just more to the story. I wanted to see more.
okay.
More Olaf.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get more Olaf.
Oh yeah.
What I wanted out of Frozen 2, people in my home are very. It's been made very clear, because I can get weirdly fixated on when I think my idea is good, and I told several people I am not watching Frozen 2 unless they go all in on gay Elsa, which
boy.
I thought they were gonna. I thought there was a decent chance of that happening,
Yep.
based on the way you can interpret the song "Let It Go." And the fact that Elsa still has no male love interest.
Yeah, it hasn't.
And-
no interest. She has
Yeah.
showed no interest to anybody.
And Disney seems to... Like, I've read interviews, and the director, the one, lady one, Jennifer, I think.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, it's, she's not about that. That's not her story. I'm like, okay, so you really have no plan, and you want to just have it both ways, is the way I interpret it. Like, she's not gay, but she doesn't have it. Like, they don't want to make a decision, so they're just trying to please everyone.
I'm sure there's an official term for that.
The other, if we didn't get that with Elsa, I wanted Anna to have fire powers. And I thought we were going to get that when I was showing the trailer about the Airbender Avatar, the fire, wind. And,
Yeah, that got my hopes up, too. Just because I'm a big fan of Airbender.
Which, we should make this call now. Despite it being a cartoon, Avatar Last Airbender,
Wait, what?
fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course.
I doubted you when you made me watch it a year ago, maybe a little less.
You learned your lesson.
And
right
I
away.
learned my lesson.
Yes.
And I don't like admitting I'm wrong, but that show, phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's not why we're here, though.
Nope.
So Frozen 2, I had no intention of seeing it because I heard it didn't do what I wanted with the Elsa or
Right.
Anna. So I'm only watching it because it was requested,
Okay.
and here we
Okay.
are.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna.
You guys made this happen.
You did this to me. So we open up.
Foreshadowing, kids.
We open up with Frozen 2. There's we've got young Elsa and Anna, which are playing, and I thought Frozen 1 had made it clear that Anna didn't get to play with Elsa much, doing that. You want to build a snowman song?
I assume this was before it.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. But didn't okay, I'd have to go back to make sure, but I just thought, okay, we're starting with a flashback, okay.
Yeah.
And then we get Dad telling the worst bedtime story to tell your kids.
Yeah.
Do you recall why he told that story in particular?
They were playing, and Anna or Elsa was bringing up. They mentioned Enchanted Forest, and he's
Okay.
like,
"Oh, back in my day, Enchanted Forest, we're everywhere.
Oh, you don't know Enchanted Forest like I do. I got something for you."
I had to walk 15 miles to get to the Boomer Forest.
Yeah.
Okay, so they go to. So he's telling this story, and Elsa's freaking out. I think Anna is as well. And then Mom's like, "Oh, go to bed, kids." And then she starts rubbing her daughter's like forehead to nose. to like help her to help Anna go to sleep.
I'd be curious to try that.
I tried it on my daughter and it didn't work.
Wait,
like the rubbing.
Your baby?
No, yeah, the baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. I was confused, but okay. And you said it didn't work?
It did not work. She just swatted my hand out.
This movie's already lying.
So the movie's already lying. It's not even the Lion King, and it's lying already. You wanted this, folks. Oh, anyway, we then cut to Elsa here. Like I think, does she wake up and she hears the noise? Does that happen yet? Like the like that shows up every 10 minutes in the movie.
I believe it was a transition, right? She heard it when she was little. Oh, wait, no, the mom was singing it.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I forgot.
Great review.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna hear that a million times before this movie's over. Yeah. Anyway, we then open up to like a wide shot of Corona. No, Tangled is called Corona. No, did you know that in Tangled the kingdom's called Corona?
Oh gosh, no, I forgot. I just saw Tangled 2 the other day.
Tangled 2's out. It is called Corona. I know that because I was playing Kingdom Hearts way back, and I was like, Corona? What kind of name is that? And like then people have made a few memes about like Rapunzel quarantining herself.
Okay.
Anyway, we get Anna walking around doing nothing. Like she just walks around like Elsa's living this duty of life, like being the queen.
Oh, she's the queen.
And Anna's just like, well, I have no responsibility. I'm walking on my snowman through a very beautifully, artistically created like landscape.
Looked awesome.
And there's like train tracks and crumbling walls. I don't know why.
Looked great.
What is Elsa doing in her diplomatic duty to keep the kingdom looking on fleek, as the kids say? I don't think they say that anymore.
No, it died.
I think Elsa's a bad queen.
Well, no. Look at
They're very happy.
Look at was it Allendale?
Arendelle?
Arendelle. One of them.
Oh God, they're gonna hate us.
Yeah. Real fans here.
People, okay, whatever. Elsa was in like these ruins. I'm sorry, Anna was in these ruins, and then we get the song where it's like, I'll be with you forever. Do you remember the opening? Not the opening song, but it was a song.
Her and Olaf?
Some things never change.
Yeah, well, Olaf,
like,
right? Well,
it's them singing, and she's like, "Oh, we're all gonna." She's technically saying, we only getting older, we're closer to death, and Olaf's like being weirdly philosophical.
Yeah, I found that odd that carried on throughout the whole movie.
He's very curious about life. During his 2 years of life, I don't know how long he's been around, but he has permafrost now. Because I remember
Frozen. Perfected version of permafrost.
Because in Frozen 1, he had a cloud over him the whole time.
Yeah, but that's going to be annoying to animate for the rest of the movie.
That probably would be annoying. Maybe it was something in Frozen Fever. I don't recall.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
We should have watched Frozen Fever to prepare for Frozen 2.
But anyways, so they got that out of the way. Like, how do you like that new permafrost, Olaf?
I mean, Olaf is he your favorite character in this movie?
In this movie, by far.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, he was not so much in the first one.
Okay. I didn't care for him in the first
not
one
for
either.
a while. And towards the end, okay, I got it.
Him
I got
being
what he was about.
his existential crisis or like his philosophicalness, I appreciated him.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was like a good lesson. Like he was like, oh, when I'm older, I'll have all the answers. And kids, we know, as adults here, you will not have all the answers.
No.
Especially when Corona changes them all on you, all the questions on you. But during that song, Sven is the reindeer. I keep getting that mixed up with Kristoff. Anyway, Kristoff, he wants to propose to Anna in the middle of this song, and he's talking to the reindeer about it.
Yeah, I know it's a kids movie. I don't like him.
I don't. Yeah,
making the voice for.
Yeah,
was that a thing in the first one?
It was. Because I've seen Frozen 1 because my daughter.
It's a lot more prevalent in this one.
Yeah,
and I don't.
I mean, it happens a little bit in Frozen 1. Like, first we need to make two statements clear.
Okay.
Just because it's a kids movie does not mean it can't be written intelligently.
You're right.
And Kristoff is not written in an intelligent manner. And this movie wants to take certain parts seriously, but then they have him talking to Sven, and they themselves know it's weird because there's a shot when he's proposing to Sven the reindeer, like pretending he's going to propose to Anna, and there's people in the background looking at him like he's insane.
Right.
Which I thought, oh, that's funny, but then it kind of undersells your character's like crisis here. Like you didn't see Toy Story, making fun of Buzz in that way in Toy Story 1. Like everything was dealt with in a serious way, and they poked fun at points, but not at the character themselves in a way that's like deprecating.
I definitely didn't think of it that way, but
the English teacher in me gets hyperly critical. I know,
see that, yeah.
But I just felt like I don't like this.
My word for the 4 minutes you just said, it was a little weird, but that's
it was weird. I don't. But
like I get it. Whatever.
Dude, no, it's dumb. It's funny.
It's funny that sometimes.
Okay, let's get into this more then, because it's gonna come up later. Kristoff, I feel like he's jumping to marriage just as quickly as Frozen 1 dude, Hans.
Well, no, it's been like... Well, did they say how long time
I don't know if they say how long, but it definitely had to have been at least a year.
No, it's been more than that.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying at least a year.
Olaf wouldn't be talking about getting older after a year. I think it honestly has been at least close to the time as it has been between the movies.
Okay. That would make sense.
I think it is.
But...
Which is still a long time.
We have no
7 years before you propose.
Understanding of his relationship with Anna.
I think you got enough of it. I get it.
Did you?
Yeah. No, not in this one. I mean,
in
the
Frozen
first
1?
Yeah.
I mean, I know. And again,
their whole adventure was together. So, you know.
The problem with Frozen 1 is when you break these tropes, like, oh, you don't need the man's love and everything. Like, you're a princess, but you can still be your own woman. Like, you have to keep going with that. Like, you can't go back into the tropes, and then it sort of just becomes, okay, well, we have to get married now. Like, why did they... Like, I've not seen them date, so why are we jumping to marriage here?
Yeah.
And Anna makes it very clear that she just interrupts him every time. We'll get into that.
It's been 7 years. They said it.
Okay. It's been 7 years. Okay.
All right.
Really?
Breaking news from my wife. It was 7 years between the first movie and the second.
Now that's not between the release or is in storyline?
Yeah, but they said it's been 7 years since the parents died. Did the parents die in the first one?
Well, no, the parents died when they were young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, it worked out because there's 7 years.
Scratch the breaking news for now. Well, maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll take a break and go back.
This was Fox.
I don't know if
Fox
you
News. Fake news. I don't even know the reference, honestly. I don't listen to it. Someone got it. Someone's laughing.
No, we continue on because we're going to get to Kristoff later.
Yeah. You never, just real quick,
you
never touched on the second thing that you needed this movie to do before you'd watch it.
Oh, the fire powers.
You didn't mention that.
I thought I did. Yeah, it's on there. We'll go back to the tape. I'm pretty sure I mentioned fire powers, though. Regardless, I wanted fire powers for Anna, which we did not get.
Right.
So then we see like this shot of Elsa being all lonely, hearing the in the distance, and you realize Elsa has no friends. I don't know what her life is, which is a problem with this movie because outside of the relationship between these 4 characters and their reindeer, I have no idea.
Snowman.
Wasn't that he's the 4th?
Oh, okay.
They have no real relationship with anyone else other than themselves. Like, this movie's supporting cast is incredibly lackluster.
Yeah.
Other than the one minority they throw in later.
Which is...
There's the African-American looking dude. He's played by the guy who was like Black Panther's brother. Like the uncle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's why I recognize the voice. He's in that This Is Us show.
The voice was similar.
He's in something else. Anyway.
Is he a supporting guy? I guess so. Sure.
Anyway, they threw a minority in randomly. I don't know. Where'd he come from? Why is he the only one of that skin complexion?
Well, the one lady he was with at the end was also...
Was that his mom?
I don't know.
I don't know. There's the one... Okay. Anyway.
I guess.
So we get Elsa with no... She has no friends.
Yeah.
And then they're playing charades, and she's really bad at it. But you can't tell if she's really bad at it or if she is distracted.
What was the actual thing she was doing?
It was ice.
Freeze or ice?
Yeah. Which is funny. But that gag for finding out what she was supposed to be pretending to do.
Yeah.
She's interrupting Kristoff the whole time as he's trying to be like, oh, I want to propose to you. And then it's like some 1980s sitcom where he's like, oh, how am I going to... She keeps interrupting me. And then she's like, you think I'm crazy? And like she just... There's just a lot of like... I don't understand their relationship. Why does he want to marry her? other than the fact that he's supposed to narratively. Like, there's no, in my opinion, no real relationship there.
They had a life-altering journey together in the first movie.
Okay.
And
you must get married at that point, I guess.
Yeah, that's how it works.
That's life.
That is life. That's it, kids. Figured it out.
Just, go on a life-threatening quest with someone, and then you have to get married.
I mean, 9 out of 10 times, that ends up being the case. I get it, though.
So we continue on. We get that Into the Unknown song, and we hear the a ton. And it's a lot of Elsa being like, I don't want to go, but I'm going to go anyway. Which I'm sure there's some more detail there that it's very meaningful. So I'm not going to judge that harshly.
Okay.
But she clearly is fighting the urge to go into the unknown, and then she ends up doing it anyway. And completely not caring about anything her sister has to say about the topic.
Yeah, not the best sister Elsa is.
No, I mean, she definitely isn't taking Anna's warnings into consideration. Like, hey, don't run off into something you don't understand. And Elsa's like, but I have to. I have to go into the unknown. Which, we'll get into my problems with that later. But we continue on with Olaf. He's trying to get a good lesson in adulthood. He's like, they're going on the trail. They decide, the 5 of them, well, the 4 of them, including their reindeer, to be clear. They're going to go find the enchanted forest. They're going to follow the voice. He's going to get him into the enchanted forest. And Olaf's like, oh, water has memory and all these life-changing thoughts he's having. Completely, I don't know how he figured it out.
Not something I thought would be brought up later in the movie and be a
foreshadowing
huge point to the movie. Water has memory.
Yeah.
But okay.
Which I feel like we should have Googled. Is that true? Is that a real fact? All those facts he was stating.
Olaf said it,
okay,
then it's true.
Okay.
In my heart.
So, eventually they go into the enchanted forest. They go through some big smoke cloud that Elsa activates by shooting. And then they're in the middle of this fight between this very indigenous looking culture and then some people who have swords and shields.
Yeah, well, apparently I've been there for 30.
I think it was 30 plus years, which is a very long time. And you'd think they'd be way more mean to each other if they're I wonder what that 30 years consisted of, that they were fighting at this point. But they
just
were
running around in circles.
Yeah, but they were pretty nice to each other. They were pretty nice to each other. And then something Frozen 2 likes to do is it sure likes to remind you about Frozen 1 a lot. Because this is the part when Olaf, he's going to summarize all of Frozen 1.
Well, that was clever.
My wife loved that part. And
that part was great because it mirrors that one dude in Ant-Man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not summarizing so much, but
I like him in Ant-Man.
Yeah.
But this part, but then they're and then their parents died. It's that's the narrative hook here. They're trying to find out about their parents, and then you're gonna use that as a joke. Their parents died.
I don't know. It worked for me.
I laughed, and should I be laughing at dead parents? Is that what this movie wants me to do? Because it sure seems like it.
Yeah, I think you should.
Okay, just want to make that clear. That this movie is so irresponsible with its own plot that it wants you to laugh at it.
Yeah, but it's not like it's news or something unfamiliar.
But that's the whole point of this
Disney.
Journey. Because she's trying to learn about their parents, right?
Isn't that what Elsa did? Figure out
why am I hearing voices? That's what the therapist is for.
Yeah.
Anyway, then we get some dude and he's like, yo, you don't know how to propose? And he literally says this: I don't have a lot of experience with women, but I got a lot of experience with proposing. Which made me think, is he their homosexual character? Because why did he need to point out, oh, I have no experience with women?
That's true.
Why even bring that up?
I didn't even think of it that way.
Yeah.
I just thought they were trying to make a mirror to Kristoff.
Well, they needed something for him to do because they were going to cut him out of the movie in 5 minutes.
Yeah, true that.
Because you think he's going to be a big part, a big focal point.
No,
but the movie's been going for 40 minutes before they go into that forest.
Yeah.
That's a long time for the plot to really start. I felt like my favorite part of the movie was before we got there. All those parts before it, I was more intrigued than by whatever the 4 elements and then they're trying to bring up later on. I guess that's more of a final thought.
Yeah.
So we'll get back to that.
Okay. A lot of getting back to in this.
Yeah, I've got thoughts. Anyway, then there's a lot of Elsa being like, I'm gonna go do this, and Anna's like, no, don't do it. And Elsa's like, I don't care, I'm finna do it.
Yeah. Again, not listening at all, or at least taking into consideration her sister's thoughts.
And, well, to be fair, look at her. Look at Anna's relationship with her soon-to-be fiance. He just like disappears off, and they're like, oh, he left somewhere, and Anna's like, oh, he left without saying goodbye. I guess I better just leave him. Like, there's no communication in that relationship. And the fact that she assumes, oh, he must have just left. Like, if that was me, I'd be like, there's no way. We're in this totally new, enchanted area that my significant other would just go off without a trace. Especially in the middle of what is a war, right? Between these two cultures.
Apparently.
I mean, they made
a very long war.
Yeah, a 30 years war.
Yeah. The sword's still sharp, and after all that banging on the shield.
And Anna she's like, okay, I'm going to go off without saying a word. No, without even bothering to look for him. But I guess Elsa's just so fixated.
He was fine. He was with the reindeer.
But Elsa's so fixated on this quest. And Anna's like, well, my sister's important, which is great. But
yeah, obviously one of them clearly likes the other person over the other one.
Okay. And we'll get into that.
Okay.
What?
Let me guess. Later?
Later. Because
okay.
This Kristoff, we're going to get into. He sings a song, which again we will get into later, about which, let's be honest, his song that he does, what's it called?
Oh, geez.
Lost in the Woods.
Okay,
it's called Lost in the Woods.
You're right.
Fan-flippin-tastic.
That's the best song in this movie.
Best song I've heard this week. I mean, I don't know what songs I've heard in previous weeks, but in the year 2020, and in this March time, I'd say maybe even best song this month.
Oh.
But I also have like a lot of nostalgia for like that kind of like power guitar and all that they were doing. It was very. Have you ever heard the song "You're the Inspiration" by Chicago?
Probably. I can't think of it at the moment.
If you're listening to this, if you want to pause it and go look up Chicago's "You're the Inspiration," it's pretty much the same song.
Oh wait. No, I ain't gonna sing it right now.
It's
like you're the meaning in my
yeah.
life. Oh yeah.
It's
that's a jam.
That song.
That was even before my time. That was a good song though.
And they pay homage to that song brilliantly.
Yeah.
But the lyrics are something we will. The very last part of this podcast before we get to our final review scores is going to be us talking about this song. I'm just warning you now.
All right. Gosh. I don't remember it too well, but
no, I'm gonna play it. I've got a clip prepared.
Oh, all right.
Anyway, then Elsa finds out that her parents' ship is there. She finds the ship that her parents died on. Like, how'd it get here? And then Anna's like, oh, well, there's a waterproof part of the ship that totally would have given us the plan. Because this whole movie is just plot by convenience. The characters never earn anything. They just happen to run into every answer. And they know it immediately. Like, oh, they see this frozen version of their father when he was younger, being held by the mom, I think. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, she must have helped him and sacrificed all this time. And
well, it's a good thing Anna brought that up, right? It's a good thing she went because Elsa was trying to go by herself. Had she not gone, then Anna wouldn't have known there's this waterproof thing that holds.
Anna knew something about a boat, so now she's important.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to say she's not important, but I just feel like every answer the characters run into is just like, oh, I just know this. Like, they immediately find this waterproof section of the boat.
You got to think against smart people, huh?
No, don't say thing. Anyway, Anna finds this map, and immediately they're like, oh, look at the top. They're going to Automoto. I don't know the name. Tara, what's the name of the place?
What place?
That they go on the boat?
I don't remember.
You said it.
No, I said it.
Oh.
I forgot what it was.
Akamungo.
Yeah.
Okay. They immediately know, oh, we've got to go up there. Because we just know all the answers. And then Anna is like, I'm gonna, you don't, something about, oh, don't go too far, you'll drown. And Elsa's like, I don't care, I'm gonna go anyway. And Anna and Olaf are like, oh, we're gonna come with you. And then she does the Dragon Ball Z with Gohan and Trunks, if you're familiar, which I don't know if you are.
I have seen it.
Yes. Well, Gohan, he's like, yeah, Trunks, you're gonna help me fight the androids. Yeah. This is from Dragon Ball Z. And then he embraces him, and then he sort of just chops him in the neck. And he knocks him out, and he flies off to go without Trunks. And this is what Elsa does here. So Disney's
She
stealing.
chopped Anna in the neck.
No, she did something worse.
What
She
movie
put
you
him in
watch?
like an ice kayak and threw him into the water. They could have
have fun.
died.
Oh,
What
yeah.
if there was a waterfall? There were clearly dangerous mountain trolls or whatever there,
Yeah, that's true.
which we haven't even gotten into the 4 elements, which are totally. There's the power scale is ridiculous. Which we'll talk about that when the horse.
Later.
We're gonna come into that. So Elsa goes off because Kristoff's not in this movie anymore.
Yeah, no.
No,
his part's done.
he's done. You know.
He might have one more thing at the end. We'll see.
Don't say thing. Anyway. Elsa's she ties her hair up, and then all the girls are like, oh, I gotta get that version of Elsa doll too. So she ties her hair up to go into the water. She's like, I'm gonna walk across the water like some sort of religious.
No.
Deity.
You're thinking too hard, too much.
No, that's fine. I'm just being funny there. But she does decide I'm gonna run across this ocean.
I think this whole, because if you remember, this was the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
This is the very opening part of the trailer. I think this was just her.
Going into the unknown.
No, she knew exactly where she was going.
She had the map.
Acapulco, whatever
She
you
had
just
the
said.
map.
She had the map. No, this is just like a test of her will and strength and her determination.
So figuratively, you're saying?
It was like a metaphor. Like you got these big crashing waves ahead. Odds are kind
she
of
didn't make it
against
very
you
far.
here. Well, no.
Then the water Pokemon shows up.
The problem is she didn't give up. She was trying even though she was knocked down, and she kept going.
That horse learns to like her very quickly. Like after
All you
trying to
gotta
kill
do
her.
is wrangle it, with the ice rope.
You play Red Dead Redemption, it's easy.
Yeah.
You just swing the rope on the horse
Yeah.
for 20 seconds, and you got a horse now. You broke it in.
Yep.
So she rides Water Horse, which is far more convenient than running.
Yeah. She definitely chose right in her transportation
And
there.
then she goes into like this mystic realm.
Yeah, I didn't understand what this.
How did we get here?
I didn't understand this world. Like, I get it. It was like a. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be questioning things when there's all these elements and all this stuff happening. But
Water is one of the elements. Well, let's talk about that very quickly. Why are the 4 different elemental creatures so vastly different in power scale? We have this water horse, then this very small Charmander, like little salamander fire guy.
Yep.
And then you got just this wind. We can't think of a creature, so we're just going to make it wind. Maybe it's invisible.
That's the thing I didn't get. Like, I get. And the thing is, the trolls who are doing Earth,
massive.
There's
3
they're
of them.
gigantic, which makes sense for them to control the Earth. But there's a few of them. So there's one tiny little lizard, there's a horse, 3 giant trolls, and then
wind.
just nothing. It's wind. Like, why couldn't it have been like something that's associated with wind, like a bird or something? Some kind of.
You could make it a gopher, a flying squirrel. Like
there you go. Exactly, an actual creature that we could. See, because every time I would see that wind fly by, I would forget it's a spirit. I'm literally just thinking it's the enchanted forest doing its thing, and I'm like, oh, there's.
That's a great name for a forest.
Yeah. So.
But it's odd how vastly different the elemental creatures are.
The spectrums are a little
like
off
where
the charts.
like who made that call?
I don't know, but yeah. So then she gets to this place, and I have.
Water has memory.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
there's just
right.
glass
That's
panels everywhere. It looks like glass panels of memories. And then she runs into herself singing "Let It Go,"
Yeah.
which was funny.
Yeah, that was good.
But
That was good.
I'm like, anyone would cringe at themselves. That's very relatable.
Yeah.
But one of the few times Elsa actually has some personality, other than I'm gonna blindly do what I want because I hear a sound.
That could be a personality.
Do you like Elsa as a character? Like, is this a character you enjoy?
Her best moment is
When she dies?
No, is
She's about to die. Spoilers.
whenever she interacts with the sister in a good way, not apparently how Trunks did it, or
Dragon Ball
Gohan,
Z.
whatever. Yeah, exactly. Whenever she's interacting with her sister in a good, like, I'm listening to you, whatever, and then when she's really putting herself to the test, that's her best moment. The rest, no, she's not a good character.
I like, if you're an Elsa fan, you're
A lot better character in the first one. I'll
Okay.
to say she was, afraid and all that stuff.
She's I like Anna.
Yeah,
I think she's kind of a shrewd
Even though
person
she
when
interrupts.
she interrupts her soon-to-be fiance all the time, not letting him get a word in because he thinks she's crazy. Like on that one trip they were going on,
Right.
Like, which is like, I feel like I've seen that in like an episode of like some like Friends or something. Like Monica's like, oh, you think I'm crazy? Like it's just it.
Yeah.
To tonally, I don't know where this came off, which I think really speaks to the directors who've never worked on a sequel before. Don't know how to write a sequel.
That's true.
Or direct one at least. Maybe we should look at the writers as well. But the directors showing up first on the credits before even the voice actors and actresses. So if they're going to get top billing, I'm blaming it on them. And a lot of this movie is just situations happen and they figure it out in the end.
Okay.
Which we'll get into with our next part here.
All right.
Because then Elsa dies after finding out that her grandfather committed or attempted genocide.
What, you mean to the whole group?
Yeah. Which we don't know their name, really making that group seem relevant to our story here.
Well, we don't know because we're dumb. We forgot the name. They had a name for him.
They didn't. It clearly wasn't focused on.
Grendelins.
Grumblins.
They had a name though. I remember. They did have a name.
They
it was similar to whatever
Native American like.
Because their name was based off of the mom, and whatever her name was.
Arendelle. Yeah, I'm joking.
No.
That is,
okay. But I said, I'm like, oh god.
Simba.
But anyway, so I had questioned why she died, so I had to use the best source of information possible, Wikipedia, to look up the reason why she had died. Apparently, she had just gone too far into that weird Acapulco, whatever you called it.
Plane of existence, we'll call it.
Yeah. She ventured in too deep and lost
went into the
control.
unknown.
Way too deep into the unknown. Should have made it a plot point.
And then she throws a magical signal beam.
Yep.
To her sister because she knows exactly where she is somehow.
Yep. And
there's just like.
And then. Oh crap!
Could you?
That
hear
was
the
a snap. That was a snap. Sorry guys. Oh, let me try again. Yeah.
Well, don't jump to the snap just yet.
Oh, okay.
Because they see a frozen version of their grandfather
right.
about to kill someone drinking a nice cup of tea. And they figure out immediately, oh my God, this is our grandfather, and they built a dam to control that other culture and trap them there. And how dare our grandfather do this? We're gonna have to destroy the dam to make everything right. Like, where did that come from? Just from this one frozen?
Yeah, I had missed it, but I think when they explained what happened originally, like the treaty between the Arendalians and whatever they were called.
I could have missed something.
Yeah.
True.
They had said that, they were fighting for so long, but we're gonna build this dam to. I don't know why, but we're gonna build this dam to, as a peace treaty. But in reality, the dam was to prevent water flowing through and providing more for the resources. So once they figured that out, I guess that's when that double cross happened. Okay. Something like that is what I got.
Well, he killed the leader. And then Anna has this moment of like reflection, like, okay, we have to make it right for these people who were betrayed by my lineage.
Yeah.
And Olaf's like, yeah, they went against everything Arendelle stands for. So then we get you want to do the...
Well, you try it. Mine didn't go...
I can't snap in general. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. I didn't know.
Like, that's the extent of it.
All right, I'm trying again.
All right.
There you go.
Okay. I hope that I didn't blow out their ears.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Pretty much, Olaf starts...
He gets Thanos.
He gets Thanos real hard, and his, Mr. Stark, deal started happening.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, no, he died.
Olaf's dead.
He's dead.
Because Elsa is dead.
He's gone.
And he's linked to her.
Yeah, well, the permafrost. That's based on her power.
Sure.
So if she dies, he dies.
Okay. I'm glad we
and I'm glad he knew that, too. He's like, I don't think Elsa's all right, because
I'm dying.
I'm dying.
So he's fading away, like many Marvel Cinematic Universe characters.
We should have said spoilers for those movies.
I could put that in the description or something.
No. Let them figure it out themselves.
So Anna then decides, I'm going to destroy this dam. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run to these trolls and get really close. Like, too close. Then they're going to chase me to the dam. And we learned that these trolls are not... They can move.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and they don't even need to move. They throw boulders.
Yeah.
I don't know how Anna thought she was gonna get out of this situation.
I don't know.
If she had fire powers, maybe, but which she should have. But she runs towards the dam, which is this. It's a big distance.
Okay.
And they make it very clear that she would have died in this moment while being chased by these giant trolls.
Yep.
If not for Kristoff and Sven.
Okay.
So they rescue her.
Yep.
And then they're like, all right, we gotta. Then they get to the dam, and they're like, all right, everyone, like we gotta destroy the dam. And then the one dude from Black Panther,
Yep.
he's like, what are you doing? How are you gonna destroy this? And Anna, immediately just convinces him, because Anna knows all the answers to everything.
Yeah,
She's a very smart girl.
Yeah, no.
Except
I want to prove things.
and without listening to her fiance either. So don't listen to men is the lesson here, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's mean. I'm being overly mean
Yeah,
with that comment.
I'm a man.
Frozen's
What is
fine.
this?
The giant trolls throw boulders and they destroy the dam. And then, oh my gosh, Arendale's going to be destroyed. So then you see a big group, because we never mentioned Arendelle, like all the elements were freaking out in the beginning. Well, not the beginning, like 40 minutes into this movie. And they have to evacuate the town.
Yeah. So they're up on a relatively safe area.
Yeah.
On
Which,
some
how
cliffs.
long were they gone? Because were the people just chilling on this cliffside?
I guess
The
so.
people of Arendelle just chilling on the cliffside?
Weren't they given like sleeping bags and tents and stuff? So they were hanging out there.
Okay. Well, they had a great view, and all the characters you slightly know are right in the center of the frame as
Right.
they watch Arendelle about to be destroyed, like old rock troll and shop owner,
Yeah.
and those are the only two people you know in this movie.
Big summer
Because-
blowouts.
Completely wasting what could have been more development on them, but they're like, no, we got to introduce all this other
Yeah, no,
storyline.
they have to introduce four or five elements.
We need to introduce all this other information. So you are given no time to appreciate the characters from Frozen 1 who aren't one of the big five, and one of the big five is a reindeer.
Right.
Which, that's fine, but we're about to see some sacrifice. Like, oh, this movie's actually going to do something. Like, you're going to destroy it, showing, hey, we're going to pay for the pardon the cliche, but pay for the sins of our father or grandfather in this sense. And the town's going to be destroyed, but it's going to be a sacrifice for the greater good.
Right.
But then Elsa comes back to life on her water Pokemon.
Yep.
And saves the town.
Yeah.
Completely devaluing any emotional, drama here. Which I know it's a kid's movie, but you don't set yourself up for this.
You don't want to kill Elsa and Frozen too.
I mean, you kill Elsa, but don't kill Arendelle. Don't destroy those buildings.
Yeah, I think it should have. Well,
and again, this is a kids movie, but maybe don't set up your narrative in this way if you don't want to. It's a kids movie. There's other ways to tell this sort of story, but they really pull the rug out from under you.
Yeah.
Again, and if you are a 5-year-old listening to this for 46 minutes now, bravo for you. But if you enjoyed this movie, that's great, but you deserve better.
Yeah, no, this movie could have been told a lot better.
Because these directors have never worked on a sequel before, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, anything else they've worked on? You saw Tarzan 2, right? That straight to DVD nonsense?
I did not.
Okay. Surf's Up 2, did you see that? I think John Cena's in that one.
Is it 2?
Yeah.
Surf's Up 2?
I'm pretty sure there's a Surf's Up 2. John
Wasn't
Cena's
Shia LaBeouf in the first one?
Probably. Do they know who Shia LaBeouf is?
I like Shia LaBeouf. He's a little crazy.
He's a little buff sometimes.
I don't think so.
No, he was pretty. He's in some music video fighting a woman. Anyway, that's not important. But there's some music video, and Shia LaBeouf was in pretty good shape.
Okay.
But Arendelle is saved. Elsa's back.
Yeah.
And then she goes up with Anna, and she's like, "Hey, you know what I want to do?" She asks some question, and it's Anna and Elsa together. And immediately in my head, I jokingly say, "Do you want to build a snowman?" Because I'm thinking I'm being stupid.
Yeah.
And then that's what she says to her sister, and I'm like, okay.
That was set up good. I think so.
This movie seems really in love with its prequel, because there are various points where we get flashbacks to Frozen 1.
Yeah.
And there are various points where plot points from Frozen 1 are mentioned, but not in like a way of importance. It's like, oh, Olaf's going to summarize the story, or oh, Elsa's going to see Hans propose marriage to Anna because they had that one like scene where she's singing, or she's about to sing, and she sees like the Let It Go version of herself.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of just like, hey, look at this funny part from before. Because like when you're watching a sequel, are you expecting a lot of callbacks like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
I thought it was a little like I did it to be funny, and then it happened, and I was like, huh.
I think the reason we saw all those flashbacks or whatever in the ice, I think it's because this was not
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking like during the Kristoff song, you just see like flashbacks of their adventure together.
Oh yeah. I'm sure if you listen to the lyrics, he might be like, even after all we went through.
We will talk about those lyrics.
Okay, good, because I don't know.
So Anna's queen now.
Yep.
And
yeah.
we gotta finish the movie.
Yeah.
Anna's queen now, and she becomes.
I think she'll be a better queen.
Well, Elsa clearly had no friends and made no attempt at alliances.
Yeah.
So good riddance.
Jeez.
She's like, I'm gonna go live with this tribe and be an element and ride my horse. Like, what is Elsa's role in life now? Like, she's gonna protect the forest, but from what?
Yeah, I don't know.
What is she doing?
I'm sure we'll find out in Frozen 3.
And that's, I think, part of the problem with this movie is that I feel like this is just a setup for the expanded Frozen universe, where they can make Frozen 3, Frozen High Fever, Frozen Avalanche, like, which are not titles they would probably use. I hope not. They don't use Frozen Avalanche, but they set up all the. I just felt like Frozen 2 is a setup for something bigger, but the plot line isn't set up for that investment that a sequel should have.
Yeah, they introduce a whole bunch of stuff, but it doesn't really do too much for the specific story that we're watching. So I feel like you're thinking, they definitely set up stuff, but to use in further movies and future movies. Like,
I wonder if these directors, I'm gonna get their names again, Chris and Jennifer, did they want to make this movie? Because if you ever have heard the story of like Toy Story 4, like they did not want to do a Toy Story 4, but Disney really pushed it, and then they end Toy Story 4 in a way.
Oh, hold on.
I'm not about to spoil that. I am not
4.
spoiling Toy Story 4, but they end that in a way that a Toy Story 5 would be incredibly different.
Oh.
And I'm just making you aware. Toy Story 4's ending is definitely like we don't need to keep going, which I thought Toy Story 3 was.
Yeah, they nailed it.
I watched Toy Story 3 again like a month ago because the baby, and I had a little tear. And I was like, oh my God. And I know that's maybe silly because they're toys, but I just felt something. Toy Story 4.
No. Toy Story 3 is, if you don't cry, like, who are you?
But Toy Story 4, I was like, huh. My wife hated the ending.
Oh.
I was like, okay, you did that. I would really like your thoughts on that. You need to watch Toy Story 4. That's not on Disney Plus yet? That's how I saw Frozen 2.
It should be now. Yeah, well, I saw Frozen 2 because of Disney Plus. So it should be by now. Like every movie, like Onward's coming out on Frizzy.
Well, that's because Corona.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Anyway, Olaf, he's wearing a suit. Anna tells Kristoff, I like you better in leather. Which I can't tell what kind of joke that's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's a weird note to end on. And then you see the one minority meet like his mom, his sister.
Who?
The Black Panther guy. He did the voice. He was in Black Panther, and then he's with some older woman. Was she in the village with him, or
no? She wasn't. He was talking about if this one girl ever married. I think it's supposed to be a love interest.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's supposed to because he was old. He was there.
She
for
waited a long
years.
time.
Well, you know.
Jeez. Romeo and Juliet couldn't wait that long.
Better love story than Kristoff and Anna, apparently.
Oh my God. Anyway, overall thoughts before we get into my Kristoff section.
I appreciated this movie did something a little different.
It did.
Than the typical. I know it's not Pixar, but like Pixar, and in this case Disney.
Disney doesn't
animation.
do sequels often.
No, they got whatever.
Not like true ones. Like if you watch Cinderella 3, that movie's insane. Like you should watch Cinderella 3 with your daughter one day or your baby, because like
that means you have to watch one.
No, you don't need to watch one.
Okay.
Cinderella 2, whatever. Just watch Cinderella 3. That movie goes places that you would not expect, and that prince actually has a character, and just that movie goes places.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate they did something different than the typical Disney movie. Unfortunately, I think it was a swing and a miss. I don't think it actually worked. Too much was introduced with no real payoff. It just ultimately I was disappointed with the movie.
I was left unsatisfied myself.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't introduce all these elements and not really do much with them.
Well, there are 5 elements.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a little creature, a horse, 3 giant trolls, and some wind. And then Elsa.
And a salamander.
And you mentioned this before we started recording. There's a part where they're talking about the bridge or the dam or whatever getting destroyed. And Anna's like, oh, well, a bridge has 2 openings. And then Elsa's like, and Mom had 2 daughters. And the cheesiest line of all was that.
Yeah.
And then, hey, you have 2 openings, 2 daughters? Why does Anna not have fire powers?
Yeah.
And it's not because she has red hair. It's just, you could do some, I'm not trying to make
powers.
this My Hero Academia with Todoroki.
Right.
Oh, that'd be good. Now I want that even more. I'm mad they didn't do that. And then there are some people who think that the one girl who asked Elsa to stay in the village was homosexual. Like some people
are reading into stuff too much.
Okay, but Let It Go's lyrics definitely have some connotations. And the female director, Jennifer here, herself says no comment. So she didn't say no.
Okay.
She's going into the unknown.
I mean,
this doesn't even make sense here.
No, not much to decipher from those lyrics, but you can do that with any song.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's the case, great. Cool.
Yeah.
But she has showed literally no.
You can do that with the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, you could.
Okay, let's keep going.
The flag.
Do we need?
Moving on.
I don't know what that means. Anyway, I feel like Frozen 1 put these characters in a position at the end that Frozen 2 keeps them in. Like Anna in Frozen 1 is the same as Anna in Frozen 2.
Yeah, she keeps trying to leave her sister. Like, she keeps wanting to leave. Mm-hmm. And I'm like...
Are you talking about Elsa or Anna?
Is that what you're talking about?
I said Anna.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's all of them, really. Anna is quick to make decisions and not...
Well, she's not the same because, she's queen now, so...
Yeah, that's it. She has a title. But she, in Frozen 1, is like, I want to marry this guy before I know him. So I'm going to react quickly. Oh... Kristoff's trying to talk to me, so I'm just going to react quickly and not listen to him. And Elsa's like so unsure of herself. And then in Frozen 2 continues to be unsure of herself, but then goes into the unknown and all this. And I just feel like...
I think she learns to be sure with herself, but the audience, I don't know what she's there to do.
Do you think Frozen 2, if Frozen 1 didn't exist, would Frozen 2 be could that movie work on its own? Like, did Frozen 1 need to exist for this movie?
I mean, if you can change a couple things around, and you don't need it.
Because I just feel like these, other than the references, like, do you want to build a snowman?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of references.
Yeah.
These characters just are in the same spots. And only now, when we get Frozen 3 or whatever, will there be actual growth.
Yeah, definitely.
If those movies happen.
Once a Frozen... Oh, come on. They'll happen.
You can say about anything. Because Tangled did great, and there's no Tangled 2.
Did you know that Tangled was in Frozen?
I do. I'm aware of the theories, and the whole Tarzan's are
brother. Oh, don't worry about that. No, just that she was in there. Like,
I love the conspiracy. You want to talk to me about Princess and the
Frog?
Man, no, Princess and the
Frog. That's a good movie.
Peter Pan. I think there's a connection there, but that's a podcast for another time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's actually in the movie.
But there's no Tangled 2.
Yeah, that's true.
But
there was 7 years between Frozen and Frozen
even
2.
More. There's no Moana.
Oh, well, yeah.
They're doing a Moana 2.
Tangled was like 2000.
I think they're doing a Moana 2.
I hope so. It was good.
Anyway, we are going to take a quick break.
Okay.
Because I need to pull together a clip for you.
Okay.
We're going to listen to about a minute of Kristoff's song.
Okay.
And I want you to listen to the lyrics. And I think that minute will once I give you a little bit of explanation, will describe everything wrong with this movie.
Okay.
All right. So thank you, folks. We'll be right back. So, my biggest issues with this movie, I think, are totally summarized if you look at this scene here. We should start by saying, what were your thoughts on this scene?
I mean,
Christoph,
just
singing.
his whole. I mean, like you said, I mirror what you said. Best song of the movie. Amazing.
Fantastic. I love this part.
Yeah. I mean, just a fun throwback to, older generations of songs.
Like late 80s or so.
Yeah.
I mean, this song, it feels almost like a ripoff of Chicago's You're the Inspiration.
Right.
If you're familiar with that song.
Yeah.
Like, really, honestly, anyone should go and look up Chicago's You're the Inspiration. And those songs are not the same, but it's clear that I can almost say it's plagiarism just with how close it is.
Okay.
I love that song, but I feel like they paid some good respect to it with this one, and
Right.
I loved it. Like, this is a song that I would put on I would do a lesson and include this song. I do these parts of my lessons called Fun Time Explosions. They're just bell ringers. You change the name, and they can't complain because there's fun in the title, right? It actually works.
Yeah, you can't complain.
Yeah,
Fun.
there's fun in the title. It's fun. You don't like fun? Anyway, I always put a song that's a time. It's pretty much a timer for them to write.
Oh man, they'll get a lot done with this song.
Yeah,
Brian.
and I would totally put this song. If we come back from this stupid coronavirus hiatus,
We won't.
don't say that, please. If we come back, first day back, Fun Time Explosion, I'm gonna make it this one. This is the song that'll go with it.
You're gonna promise that to your students.
If you're listening right now and you come back to class, because there's like juniors and seniors and sophomores on here, so they won't all. But if you are getting this podcast in your ear holes, you're gonna hear this song in class.
Okay.
Regardless, this song, while fantastic,
Yep.
is a perfect example of my problems with this movie. So if you listen to Christoph's lyrics here, now this is a kids movie, so I'm expecting some, like not dumbing down of themes, but they're gonna make it simple and not get overly gratuitous on the details. But they bring up these details, and there's 3 lines in that song. One of them, he says he feels they're growing apart.
Right, which is kind of against what he was trying to accomplish.
He's
the
trying to
whole
get
movie,
married.
trying to get together and be together.
And I know they've had like this weird situation where they aren't in sync, but for him to go all the way into doubting if their stance as a couple right now, I think that's a pretty big deal.
Okay.
And then he goes on to say, I'm the one chasing your heart. Like, he feels like his love's not being reciprocated. Like, he's putting himself out there and Anna's not paying it back in a loving way. That's a huge deal in a relationship. And then he goes on to say, in the biggest part, he says, in regards to proposing, it's not a question of how, it's a question of whether. This dude is doubting, should I even propose to this woman? And I don't know if that was the original intent of the lyricist who made this or whatever, but the directors clearly put it in this movie, and they saw no problem with it. So I don't understand why they put this huge, maybe I shouldn't say huge, but there's a significant amount of time played into this part of the movie, which is fantastic. Again, the visuals, like, do you recall like the reindeer all like watching him and then like one of them singing with him and everything?
Right, yeah. Well, they were all like backup singers.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Which is
great.
great.
It was great. Like, a perfect homage to like an old school kind of music video.
Yeah.
There's even a part where he flips his hair out and he's like, it's almost like he's singing into a mic, but it's a pine cone.
Yeah.
Like, great visuals. But what they're saying is pretty...
It's going against the movie, at least his goal in the movie.
Yeah. And then for them to never bring it up again. And I know you might be thinking, hey, it's a kid's movie, so they're not going to go into all these details. But for them to never reference his his current dilemma of
Yeah.
do I even want to be with this woman because she doesn't love me? It's just never addressed, and I think it shows just how irresponsible these directors are.
Yeah, no, that's valid. I can see that.
And it's
A nice little line in there towards the end of him maybe coming to terms with that dilemma. Just a quick little throwaway sentence or something just to kind of wrap it up would have been nice. But no, he just happens to be there in time to stop Anna from being stepped on by a goblin or whatever, a golem.
Yeah. Now, I had spoken to your wife about this scene, and she said, "Oh, you're it's way too deep. You're going way too into this." Now, I'm an English teacher, so the writing is going to be something I focus on a lot.
Right.
And I just think that as wonderful as this moment was, it shows how these directors, they don't know how to I don't want to be too mean here because again, I could be going too deep because it is a kids movie, but I don't think they're doing a good job and they're not respecting their own characters.
Right.
And
at least when it comes to this scene, I definitely agree with you and his objectives and his whole part and
he's
reason of
forgotten.
being in this movie. Yeah, they cut him out.
And then comes back at the very end, and then they just do nothing with this 3 minutes of song they entered. And I'm not one who really likes musicals to begin with, and because I feel like it can cause some lazy writing, but they went really somewhere deep here. Like if a student went to me with this problem, like, hey, I don't feel like my love's being reciprocated in my relationship, I'd be like, wow, that's a huge deal. Like that's something we need to think through and talk about. I'm not saying the relationship's over, and clearly it wasn't over here,
Right.
but for those feelings to never be noticed by Anna, and for him to never,
Well, for him to think that.
for him to just feel that way, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And if I felt that way in my relationship, like that's definitely something that needs to be discussed. And for them to just throw it in there, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it just, it says a lot about this movie in my opinion.
Okay.
And a movie full of a lot of songs that I didn't particularly love either.
Yeah, that's one of my, I guess, issues with this movie. Just, the songs are there, but nothing really memorable. Like I couldn't.
They want you to remember Into the Unknown. They got Panic at the Disco to sing it, which I love that band. I went to them live and I thought they were fantastic, but the song's just not good.
Yeah, the song isn't good enough for them to do. I'm sure with better writing or something, with the better tune or melody, that they do great. Obviously.
We don't agree with each other often, so this is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the songs weren't as good. I mean, compared to Frozen 1.
Yeah, what's your Frozen 1 song list?
I mean, if you're going for the top of the top.
Yeah, what's your top? Because I don't.
Some people want to say "Let It Go," and that song's great.
Okay.
But there's Snowman. Do you want to build a snowman?
Snowman, yeah.
But the First Time in Forever song. That's the jam right there.
Would you say those songs slap?
Ladies and gentlemen, that song slaps.
No, okay. Compared to Lost in the Woods?
Oh no, Lost in the Woods is that's its own different level.
Okay.
But it's sad in that it has to be in this movie, and not the first one.
Would you put any of those songs on your phone? Like, would you listen to that on your own time?
I typically don't do that with any movie really. That's like specific to the movie.
Yeah, there was if you heard Felipe's wife, Weezer has a version of this Lost in the Woods song. It's okay, but it is not as good as the original rendition by Christoph's voice actor.
Yeah, well, I normally don't put songs, especially from like at least Disney movies or musicals, because typically those songs include stuff that's happening in the movie, like sound effects. Build a Snowman, I'm sure a snowball is thrown at one point. You'll hear that in the audio that you're getting. So I typically don't do that, but I at least hum them, or sing them to myself while I'm cleaning or something.
I've got Mulan's "I'll Make a Man Out of You" on my phone.
Well, that's because you're intelligent. That's a great song. But yeah, at least with these ones, I don't remember any of them besides Lost in the Woods, and even then, that's still not as much. I just watched the movie.
You do recall the
I do recall that. Just because they were shoving it down our throats like the whole entire movie.
And I think you had mentioned to me off air that you feel like something about like the reliance on that little tune.
Yeah, that tune was morphed a lot into the songs, the big songs that they had in this movie, which, again, having a hard time remembering the names of them or how they went. But what was the one where...
Elsa dies? Like,
yes.
Show yourself.
Yes. All right, so Show Yourself. That one's pretty good. I remember liking that one at the time. I can't really think of it right now. But... it was going, and I'm all right. And then that little, can you do that again? It comes back. It comes back in the song, and it like kind of ruins the flow a bit. And I get that's the whole reason they started this journey, and she wants to find out what's going on with this voice. But
because she's like my 1.5-year-old daughter who, what is that? I need to go find out with no logic to my thoughts. That's mean, but I feel strongly that Elsa is not a good character.
Yeah.
We've just I feel like we've discussed that already, but
right.
when we think about these songs, this is a musical, pretty much of a movie. Like it includes just so many songs that you could consider it one. I feel it stinks that if I were to give this a score, despite Lost in the Woods being so phenomenal, I'm not really happy with the score. I think the song deserved to be in a better movie. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just Frozen fans in general. I think they deserved a better movie. Mm-hmm. The first one being, I think, much better. Mm-hmm. And did you want to kind of bring a review to the first one just to kind of see what your thoughts are on the first one?
Yeah, so they know where we're coming from.
Right.
So Frozen 1, I feel like you were more positive on it. We should start with your score there, because in mine, I didn't plan on seeing it originally, and then I was lukewarm on it. But what's your scoring scale first of all? Because I'm a 1 out of 5.
Oh, the incorrect version of how to rank something. Gotcha. I do 1 out of 10.
Wow, lame. See, 1 out of 5
1
is
through
great.
10, not 1 out of 10.
1 out of 5 is great because 1 is garbage, 2 is not good,
okay.
3 is okay, 4 is great, 5 is, you should see this movie, classic.
Okay. You want to stick with that with 5?
Yeah.
You should see this movie because there's some movies that aren't that great, but I would still recommend you watching them. So
that's what the 4 is for, or 3.
Okay. All right. So I see where you're coming from. Yeah, I'm not gonna list every single thing with the numbers that I have. Every single explanation for every number, but yeah, obviously 1 terrible, 10 fantastic movie. You should watch it. Doesn't mean perfect, but it's up there. I don't think there's a single perfect movie.
So,
but anyways,
1 out of 10, Frozen 1.
Me?
Yeah.
Frozen 1, I would give that a solid 8.
Okay.
8 is great.
I would give it a 4 out of 5. I just think what they do with the tropes, like the whole breaking down of, hey, you're a woman that should get the love of a man. It's so well done that despite me not enjoying the movie that much, I can still appreciate it, and I feel perfectly fine giving it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Now, Frozen 2, I am so disappointed by this movie, especially because they didn't do what I had wanted, which was a silly request maybe to have in the beginning. Like,
yeah.
I'm not the director. I can't control that. But I'm giving this Frozen 2 is a 2 out of 5 from me. It's not good. And despite there being beautiful animation, I think the success this movie has had and the amount of budget and money it made, Frozen fans deserve better. And you're a Frozen fan who enjoyed this, that's fine. But I wish you could have gotten an even better version of a movie that you clearly enjoy.
2 out of 5.
Now,
huh?
if you just watch Lost in the Woods scene on YouTube, that's a 5 out of 5 right there. because then you don't get all the drama with them not caring about the storyline they were just trying to tell
I mean,
you.
the whole song's drama. So.
Oh my god, this song is so good. Okay, your Frozen 2, you had an 8 for Frozen 1.
Yeah. So for Frozen 2, I'm probably gonna give that a 6.
Okay.
You know, which in my eyes, in my scale, is okay.
Your inferior scale is a 6. Mine's a 2. I feel like we both were disappointed then. Like, is that safe to say?
Yeah. Okay. Ultimately, we were both
you were going in liking.
Yeah,
I
like the first one. I was excited to see this one. I mean, those trailers were knocking it out of the park, and kind of got me some hope with all those elements that they were, like the actual elements, fire and all that stuff. But
like the Airbender.
Yeah.
Well, I do not want to sell the animation short. Beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful quality of work.
The top of the class.
Like, I can't disparage that. But as an English teacher, the writing is always going to be most important to me, and this was not a well-written movie.
Nah, I couldn't follow a lot of stuff that was happening.
You could throw around fireworks around a turd, but that's still a turd around some fireworks. That's a beautiful metaphor.
I've never heard
used
that
it in your. I'm
not going to
in
use
your
it.
English. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today, Felipe, on this adventure.
Yeah.
Something that hopefully our audience stuck through to the end.